trying to do our thing. So we're into step 4 once again, and this will be the last week on step 4. You may be tired of it by now. But we're going to go through some of the systems, and it's one of the most fearful steps that we do. I guess next to step 5 can be pretty fearful too, but committing all of the stuff in step 4 down to paper and really digging deep is quite fearful. It's a difficult step, and it's difficult to do it well. That's maybe why so many people in recovery do this step over and over many times during the course of the recovery, and each time they peel off another layer of the onion and they go a little deeper and a little deeper. It takes a lot of trust to do a good step 4. You've got to trust who you're going to share it with, and you've got to trust who you're going to do your step 5 with. We talk a lot about this step being next to the foundation steps, steps 1, 2, and 3. I believe that if we don't get steps 1, 2, and 3, there's not much point in moving forward with this. We need the foundation. It's like building a house. You need a good, solid foundation, and then you can move forward. You often hear Brad and I talking about stage 1 recovery and stage 2 recovery. The first stage, or stage 1, is really about getting sober. It's about not drinking, not drugging, and kind of changing our life a little bit, white-knuckling it, going to meetings, and just living our lives one day at a time until we start getting our brain just a little bit in better shape. Stage 2 happens once you've got some good sobriety and you're working your program and you're making good headway and seeing a sober life and things are working out okay for you. Step 4 gives you a glimpse, I suppose, of some of the issues that you may want to work on in stage 2. This is the beginning of the healing process. So stage 1 is, we talk about the iceberg and a little bit tip of the iceberg that sticks out of the water. That's our behaviors. That's the things that people see. That's the stuff when you're getting picked up for impaired driving and you're going to jail, and all the bad behaviors, what's seen. What isn't seen is the stuff that's below the surface, all the hurt and the abandonment issues and the abuse issues that are down here. And those are the issues we need to start working on once we're clean and sober. If we can identify our part in our resentments and our actions in the past, and we can be rigorously honest without blaming everyone else around us, then we can identify many things that we need to work on in the future. And as I said, this is the start, the very beginning of that healing process. Step 4 in the AA program is infamous, the scary one, probably because it's a crucial step towards effective and lasting recovery. Since the overall philosophy of Alcoholics Anonymous is that alcoholism is just a symptom of our spiritual disease, the real problem is in character flaws that need to be faced and when possible, overcome. This requires a searching, bear it all, revelation-inducing inventory that will become the blueprint for your success. The benefits of completing step 4 are strengthened sobriety, spiritual growth, and movement towards mending your relationships to your higher power, yourself, and to many other human beings around you. Working step 4 requires that we look not only with honesty, but with compassion at ourselves. Fortunately, the God of our understanding, the Creator, is prepared to help us do this. A good idea would be to adopt for ourselves a prayer from Psalm 139. And it goes like this: "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life." As we've talked many, many times, our program works best when combined with prayer. Prayer in the morning, prayer in the evening, and prayer as many times during the day as you need to get through whatever is going on in your life. And this is a good one to put together with step 4. What's the biggest requirement for this action step? I think it's being honest. You and the people around you will benefit from this crucial step. In case you didn't know, keeping secrets is threatening to our recovery. And we've all had secrets that nearly killed us. Our secrets in and out of sobriety keep us sick. We've all heard the expression, we're only as sick as our deepest secrets, so think about that. Almost everyone comes into recovery having trouble separating fact from fiction in their own lives. The reality is that the drunkalogs and the war stories that that accumulate over the years of using are so embroidered into our fabric of whom we think we are. However, while working on our step inventories, we get a new perspective on the bigger picture, on patterns of selfishness, our responsibility in situations, and in this process, we're building up an accurate self-appraisal with true self-worth as a reward. So we need to break down the steps of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. At this point, it has probably become pretty clear to you that recovery is a process of steady personal growth and enlightenment that feels so good. You probably wish everyone around you did the same thing. Although you may be pink clouding it and enjoying the clarity that comes from sobriety, the truth is that our past addiction crippled our ability to reflect honestly about our lives. Addiction created delusional thinking that limited our ability to understand the damage and the havoc or the liabilities it caused in all our relationships. So before we could safely move forward, we needed a framework through which we could sort out our past honesty. The Step 4 inventory provides that framework. The inventory you will do in Step 4 of AA will help you to identify negative thoughts, emotions, and actions that have ruled your life. In the past, you probably justified bad behavior and blamed other people, blamed other places, blamed other things for your problems that you had created. Now you will begin to take responsibility for all your past and current actions. This may mean acknowledging pain, embarrassing or difficult thoughts, emotions, or actions. This step is quite painful and does bring up a lot of negative emotions. It's a step that's difficult to work and one that maybe we need to take some time doing. Maybe we need to work a little bit on it and then step away for a bit and then go back and work on it again, depending on how deep we're going. All of that is cool. It's good because your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are actually the root to all your addictive behaviors. While writing out your inventory, you will get to examine all your tendencies towards your fears, your pride and ego, resentment and anger, self-will, self-pity, guilt, shame, relationships, your sex or your sexual abuse, your secrets, and your assets. Important that we also look at our assets. So how do you actually do a personal inventory? Most of the people you will be relying on to guide you through this step 4 probably believe that there's no exact right way or no exact wrong way to practice this step. I think that is important is that we follow the general principles of self-honesty and that we are willing to be searching and fearless in the pursuit of truth. Okay, by the way, when we say fearless, we do not mean that you have no feelings of fear. Fearless means that you will not let your fears stop you from being thorough in your inventory process. With Step 4, it means you commit to rigorous honesty as you focus on the events in your life, including your own weaknesses and specifically, and I've got to repeat this, specifically not anyone else's weaknesses. So we take judgment on ourselves, we don't take anybody else's inventory. Old-timers will take the approach of reviewing the 7 deadly sins as laid out in the 12 steps and 12 traditions. And they are pride, greed, lust, gluttony, envy, and sloth. It would be noted that pride leads that list, pride and ego. While others will benefit from a review of sampling of the more significant events from their lives as well, using the process outlined in the Big Book is an essential guide to reviewing the biggies. And the big one, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is resentment. So resentments, fears, and sexual conduct. In Alcoholics Anonymous, we learned that resentment is a condition or a state of mind whereby one relives some past event and feeling the emotions from that event as if it were happening right now, today. Resentment is literally to feel again, and it is the fuel that feeds the fires of our addiction. In fact, the original members of AA who wrote the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous believed resentment was the #1 offender and it is destroying more alcoholics than anyone else. I believe that as well. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Resentments will take us out quicker than anything else. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. I believe that this is one of the biggest reasons for relapse. Next to relationships, actually. Anyway, okay. And relationships develop resentment, so they kind of work hand in hand. One way to do an inventory is to list the memories of people, institutions or organizations, principles, ideas or beliefs, and events, situations or circumstances that have triggered positive and negative feelings, including sadness, regret, anger, resentment, fear, bitterness. There will be some items on your list that may appear multiple times, and that's okay. Do not try to sort out or judge or analyze at this point. For now, just be as thorough as possible. It's important to note that some people will try to avoid writing their moral inventories, feeling embarrassed or fearful about their writing, or even about someone else reading what they might have wrote. I implore you to not let these fears stop you until you put it in a tangible form. You still haven't done your fourth step. Until you put it in a tangible form, you still haven't done your fourth step. If there are things that you think are so bad that you just can't include them in your step 4 inventory, you're not alone. I swear to you, your sponsor has heard and probably done the same things that you were worried about. The rest assured that in history of AA, there has never been something in a 4-step inventory that was so unique or so worrisome that you shouldn't have shared it. Every other human being has likely done close to or similar things in that category. Here are some questions maybe to help you guide and prepare you for doing your step 4. By no means take the place of doing your 4-step inventory. They're just questions to help you put it together. What people, places, or things do you resent, and what led you to those resentments? How do you behave? How did your behavior contribute to your resentments? How have your resentments affected your life, your relationships with others and yourself? Who or what do you feel and why? And how do you respond destructively or negatively to those fears? Who or what do you feel ashamed of or are you guilty of? What feelings do you have the most trouble allowing yourself to feel? And how do you act that out? How have your fears and resentments affected your friendships, your family, your work, and your romantic relationships? Have you compulsively sought after sex? Have you used sex to try to fill a spiritual void or loneliness? Have any of your sexual practices hurt others, or in fact hurt yourself? What do healthy relationships look like to you? Are there secrets that you haven't told anyone or written about in your step work? In the thought of making a searching and fearless inventory of yourself, if the thought feels overwhelming, know you're not alone. My heart goes out to you as I remember my struggles to find the willingness to complete this step. The key is to put pen to paper and just start. It is a difficult one. Even though remembering the past may be painful, it can propel you into a new life of peace as you learn how to look back without staring. Ask someone who has completed the step how it helped him or her, and how the hope of recovery can help you through the pain of remorse to the joy of forgiveness. Make sure to check in with the spiritual principles you are practicing in your life, how your faith in a higher power has grown, how you are showing gratitude for your recovery. Be prepared when finished a 4-step inventory. You can feel exhilarated or uncomfortable, or perhaps even both. No matter what, make sure to congratulate yourself on a major accomplishment, because you now have the foundation of your freedom. You've gone much further than a lot of people in recovery have gone because of the fear. You have conquered huge fear, you have been rigorously honest, and you have attempted to go deep. After doing step 4, you will have a blueprint for success. and a map to help you steer yourself on the course of continued long-term sobriety. The only thing left to do is to contact your sponsor or another trusted person and let them know you're ready to do your step 5. You have so much to gain. This is the start of your transformation. Keep going. Keep gaining in your recovery and your life. Thanks for coming here this evening, and join me, please, in prayer. I'd like to do one first, and then we'll do the step 7 prayer. My Creator, please lean close and hear my commitment that I may begin the process of healing. My Creator, I'm hurting so bad. O Great Spirit, accept the pact that I make with you today. I am a spiritual seed. On my own, I don't know how to grow and be happy. Plant me near you that I might grow under your power and your wisdom. Great Spirit alone, I don't know how to do this. Creator, mold and shape me into a spiritual warrior. O Great Spirit, hear us as we turn our will and our lives over to you. Amen. Join me.